All right, perfect. Yo, Red River Podcast, episode 133. I
Ooh,
know, totally.
wow.
It's a very special number when you really think about it, you know?
Oh, I was
Uh,
I was listening to the Cannon films one last night. I was
yes.
stuck at work all night, so I was like listening to a couple episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy is definitely, doing the Lord's work over there. I see you have your Death Wish 3 poster in the back, so that's
Oh
cool.
yeah, shit. I didn't
Yeah.
even
Best.
didn't put that
Uh,
together.
I thought
Yes, I'm
I,
a
I,
big fan.
I thought you rearranged the room just so you could drop that episode thing in there. I was like, wow,
Boom.
thanks for the plug. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Did we start?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Bobby Heckman, man. Welcome to Red River Podcast. Long time coming. Um, we've known each other for a minute. Just at the moment, you just happen to have written and directed a Friday the 13th fan film. So I figured what better time to talk about it than now.
Yeah, let's do it.
So
So I did it.
yeah,
The
you
end.
you did it. And that's the whole thing. It was like a complete undertaking. I watched the whole thing. It's like a 40-minute film, and just like how did this come about? Like you could have done like what is your relationship with the Friday the 13th series? Because you could have done anything. You could have done like, like the big four, like Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street. Why Friday the 13th?
Friday 13th, I always had a special connection to. My friend, growing up, my friend Tommy and I really attached to the Friday 13th series. We were like obsessed with like every installment, at the time growing up in the 80s. I don't know what like exactly drew me into that. Um, Especially since the original Halloween is one of my favorite horror films of all time.
Same, absolutely.
And I'll take the original Halloween over any of the Friday 13th. So I don't know why I guess because the Halloween, there are different types of horror.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like the Halloween movies are more, I don't want to say classier films, but
Mhm. I get what you're saying.
I mean, you're
you
not
know what
you're
I mean?
you're you're not wrong until you get to like Halloween Kills, and you're like, oh, you're basically just Jason in this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, exactly. Just mangling people.
Yeah, just
Um,
mangling people.
uh, but there's something about John Carpenter's direction and those films and Donald Pleasance, like the greatest character actor ever. He's so like awesome in that.
What what
So there's
what
there's
what
like a
about
little
what about this question?
yes.
The original Friday the 13th or Sleepaway Camp?
Uh, Sleepaway Camp.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I have more fun watching Sleepaway Camp, but I do love the original Friday 13th.
Great,
Uh,
great like plot twist on both for sure.
oh,
100%.
absolutely, absolutely. And I really want to know. Like, I was just talking about this with a friend at a convention recently. Like, how Sleepaway Camp holds up today in today's world of transgender and like and everything like how does how would it be looked upon
I,
you
we
know
we would have to ask the only transgender person we know, which is Kiera Walker. So I got to ask her what she thinks. But it's
and Ricky Vitus, the effects guy for Victim No More. Come on.
oh, okay, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So yeah, it's I'll tell you this. That movie really holds up. Like I recently watched it, and then it made me think because I hold Friday the 13th in this light, like we all do.
You talking
And
about Friday the 13th one or Sleepaway?
no, I'm talking about Sleepaway Camp.
Okay.
But I've rewatched both
hmm
recently, and it got me thinking after enjoying watching Sleepaway Camp more that I was like, wow, I kind of feel like I enjoy Sleepaway Camp more than the original, because it's like you put them in the same category. It's like they almost feel like in the same
Camp
vein.
slasher,
Yeah,
right?
and after going to recently, I did the tour in New Jersey of the
Yeah, the
original.
Crystal Lake tours. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it still holds up. Just I feel like there's just something so mean about Sleepaway Camp that I love, like the violence to it, the killing, and then that whole ending. That whole ending, I can't like to this day. That might be the most like jaw dropping ending of any movie that I could think of.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's still shocking. Like,
It's still
and
shocking.
it's still creepy. It's like it was the ultimate like slumber party movie that you watched when you were kids with a group of friends, and
Yeah.
we all kind of have, like, anybody that grew up in the 70s, 80s, whatever. Like, we all kind of have that story of renting sleepaway camp with
Yep.
friends or whatever, or somebody made us watch it, and I mean, and it's like such a, oh man, the characters in that movie are just so disgusting.
They're kind of vile. Yeah, they're kind of vile. Like
everyone that works at that camp is a child molester.
Every single one of them.
And everybody's really angry. And like the kids curse like sailors. It's just so fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like, but so that's what I mean. There's kind of a sense of, there's more enjoyment of the characters than of Friday 13th in that movie, because you're dealing with a bunch of like 14-year-olds running around, you know, acting like idiots or being stuck up and obnoxious, and then you got like all the people that work at the camp there, and they're just cartoon characters, you know, like just woo. And the kills are really creative. You know,
they are pretty creative. They really are. Like it's pretty damn cool. And then like, you know, Bruce Springsteen's sister was like, "Hey, let me hold it down for the next couple of movies."
Let me get at that. Just the second one though. Did she come back for the third?
She did 2 and 3.
She did. Okay, I don't remember 3 that well.
They were shot back to back, and like in the span of like 3 weeks or something. And I mean, I like them. I mean, the third one is probably my least favorite. I mean, it's really cut up pretty bad, edited. It's not, you know, but there's still like weird, enjoyable parts. And that part 3 has some vile characters too. They're like racist and like saying awful things to each other.
Well, I mean, that was the era for sure, you know.
And I gotta admit, I really enjoyed the fourth one, Return to Sleepaway Camp. I
did too.
It's really done. I think it's really done well, and it's odd that the original director directed it, and it seems like he didn't like. Apparently, this movie was written in the 80s, and it seemed like it wasn't changed at all. The way it's written, the way it's directed, seems like it was shot in the exact same style as the original Sleepaway Camp. And there was some cool creative kills in it, and it was another, you know, weird twist ending, you know.
I like the box set I remember came with like a trailer or something of the fourth that never
the Survivor.
Yeah, that one was never made. And I just remember like watching like that DVD and thinking like, yo, I hope they never make this fucking movie because it looks terrible.
Yeah,
and then,
they only shot a few scenes and it got shut down.
Oh, it was so bad. Like it's like I couldn't. It did look like it really looked like a complete porn movie. But then Return to Sleepaway Camp, you know, I had Vincent Pastore, and then Felicia came back. And I remember watching it and thinking like, for what it was, I was like, this is pretty good, like on par with, you know, like if you're going to watch 1 through 4, like you're not going to think like, oh my God, 4 is like, no, you're going to be like, yeah, all right. This is...
Unfortunately, it didn't get a lot of love, and, you know, they were going to make a part 5 if it was somewhat successful in responses, but I don't know. I mean, I thought it was cool. I know a lot of people found the main kid annoying. Alan, the guy that was like, your ass stinks. He just kept saying like same stupid lines like that, and everybody, you know, he was set up to be like, oh, is he the killer?
A lot of times when someone hates a character, it's like, yeah, like everyone hated Jar Jar Binks so much that it didn't matter what anyone thought of like Star Wars. They were like, that guy sucks, or like, you know, Babadook.
I was never, Babadook. Honestly, I was never a Jar Jar hater much. When I first experienced Jar Jar the first time, I was like, well, he's kind of irritating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But then as the movie went on, I mean, I was sitting next to like a 8-year-old kid who was loving it, you know, like, so, and I was just like, well, yeah, they're big fairy tale fantasy movies, you know, so it's like he's enjoying it. And then I kind of like it kind of brought out the 6-year-old in me. And I was just like, I'm having fun with this movie. All right.
You're a better man than me, because I remember watching that in '99, like when it came. Yeah, I guess we were all there in '99. I was 21, I guess. And man,
skipping work that day.
Yeah, I like my pants were so tight with excitement, but with every like 10 minutes that movie, like I just my boner got smaller and smaller. And by the time I got to that race, I was like, I don't know if this movie's gonna be any good. Just like I'm like, I can't, so but whatever, that little 8-year-old kid, bless his little heart, because I'm sure that's the demographic they were going for.
It hit me in those nostalgic, spots. I guess.
Let me ask you, getting back to Friday, what was the first Friday the 13th film you saw? And was it VHS? Was it theatrical? Like what exposed you to it?
It was on. It probably came on like PIX Channel 11 for Long Islanders.
Nice.
I probably saw it, one night on that, and it was probably part 2 and part 3. I have a vague memory of seeing part 3 on VHS at a cousin's house.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been part 2, and then I saw part 3, and then a group of teenagers that were in my neighborhood came over to watch part 4. Maybe they weren't allowed to watch it at their house or something. I have no idea what the situation was, why they were at my house watching it.
Did you have the cool house?
I guess, I guess, my parents were friends with, the surrounding houses in my neighborhood. So they were over watching it, and I was kind of like popping in here and there and watching final chapter. And, I was like, I guess at that point I was 8 or 9, and I was totally like into it. I was like, oh my God. And then they were talking about how they'd seen a trailer for part 5, and, they couldn't wait. And I was like, I gotta get on this. So then I went to the local library in Central Islip, New York.
Talking your language, Langan.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm renting the first one. I'm gonna rent the first one and the second one and start watching these. And then I don't remember who I don't know if my friend Tommy turned me onto it or I turned him onto it. It was kind of like kind of found it together.
Yeah.
But we would play Jason. We would dress up like Jason and chase each other around the house and create stories. We were creating fan films before we had a camera,
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Same thing with me. Like I gotta say, I think I went in with 2 first. I don't ever remember I don't remember watching the first one. I always feel like it's always been 2 on. And then later on, I watched the original, but it was always like 2. And I'll never forget like Jason holding the knife because he had like a black and blue under his nail. And I thought that was like the grossest thing ever. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? But so, all right. So Bobby Heckman, you somehow decide you want to write and direct something. Like, is that like, I mean, that seems like something we all want to do, but you actually did it. So how do you put forward that?
Well, originally a few years ago, I wanted to put together a horror anthology film, a creep show, Tales from the Dark Side movie type thing. And I had written the script years before that. And I'm like, I really want to do this. And I kept thinking about it and sitting on it for a while. And then I saw one of the fan films, Never Hike Alone, and I saw the production value in it. And I was just like, oh man. And we all, as fans, missed the Friday the 13th films. And now it's kind of like falling into the fans to make their own because it's been 13 years. So I was like, you know what?
You're right. It's crazy when you say it out loud, but you're right.
Yeah, 13 years.
Yeah.
So I said, well, if I was going to make my own original film, the anthology, I'm not going to get anybody to like contribute money the amount of money that I need to make it properly. Um, so I was like, but if I make a fan film, which I'm passionate about anyway, about the series, I'm like, I could probably get some contributors because of the people I'm friends with, the what I called my celeb buddies.
Yeah, they're all over this movie for sure. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a pretty decent like list of like people that we all
Sure.
grew up watching. So
yeah, exactly. And I've been friends with all of them for a little over 10 years now. So I'm like, well, if I can involve them somehow, like this could be something like really special. So
just give us a list so for people listening to know that who's actually attached to the movie.
Joe Whitlow, who is in one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time, Night of the Creeps.
Absolutely, that's like one of the greatest.
I mean, I that's a movie I could put on every single day.
Me too.
And not unlike Sleepaway Camp, you know. But I could really, I love Joe Willow as a person and an actress. She's adorable. But Night of the Creeps. I mean, she's also in Weird Science, which is my favorite comedy of all time.
Sure.
Anything more than a mouthful is a waste.
Yeah, that's right. Catherine Mary Stewart, from Weekend at Bernie's, Last Starfighter, Night of the Comet,
Everything.
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, I mean, she's worked with all the greats, including Charles Bronson.
Yeah. And now Bobby Heckman.
And now me. And there's one shot where I'm in the film for
You're
a brief second.
Yeah, right in the very beginning.
Yep, you see me walking out, and that's, I mean, partially because it's like, oh, I want my little Hitchcock appearance.
Yeah.
But also, and more importantly, so I could be directed by Catherine Mary Stewart.
Yeah.
Because she directed all the opening Manhattan shots.
Amazing. So those shots are really, really cool because your inner 80s child really came out. First of all, that song is great.
Oh,
that opening song is really good. Are there just friends of yours?
Yeah, this guy Mike McGrainer, he put out an album. I think it was last year. It might have been the beginning of last year. Might be 2 years old now. But it's a funny story. He's a huge horror fan, a huge Friday 13th fan, and he got a record deal because of Adrian King from Part One.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Just a weird, mixing of awesomeness.
Yeah. Great song. The beginning is cool, like the font, like you almost feel like you're watching like a John Hughes movie in the very beginning, which I'm sure maybe was a little purposeful for you. Like,
I mean, I just thought it would be a fun idea to begin the movie with. Well, we'll go back to that, but the other 2 cameos I have in the movie is Amy Steele,
which we've had on
Friday 13 Part 2, and most people's favorite final girl.
Sure.
Because she uses like psychology against Jason and stuff, which is pretty awesome. And Kimberly Beck, who's the main girl from Part 4.
Hell yeah.
Trish Jarvis. And they're just amazing. They're my top 2 favorite final girls, and to have them involved in this was like surreal.
Really cool. I mean, like, it's just like, to be friends with people that are in these movies is one thing. It's another thing to involve them in something that they agree to do. It's pretty fucking cool. Like, I mean, that's one hell of a fan film flex for sure.
Yeah, and I just and it's something that I didn't want to spoil. Because a lot of people kept saying when a couple of the people that contributed money to be a associate producer or a co-producer, they kind of wanted to know some information before they handed over $500 or $1,000 or whatever. I'm like, of course. And they're like, well, who's going to be in this movie that's going to make it worthwhile? And I said, I gave them the list of people, and I said, well, are you going to promote that? Because you can get a lot more money saying like, oh, Amy and Kimberly Catherine are involved in this project, we could probably raise $50,000 or something. And I'm just like, yeah, but I kind of want to keep it a secret. And that's kind of what they did with Never Hike Alone, where they kind of kept the Tom Matthews a secret thing until he pops up at the end. Because sometimes it's a disappointment when you find out, hey, this person's going to be in the movie. And then fans' reaction is like, oh, they're going to be in the whole movie. It's not going to be, and then when they just see that it's a cameo, they're disappointed.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're messing around with their expectations.
For sure. And it's easier to play it the way you did, it's because I had no idea and I didn't ask. And then when I'm watching, I'm just like, I know you. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. What I didn't realize was obviously, like the narration part. So
yeah. I originally it was going to be somebody else doing the narration at the end, but
John Larroquette.
It's John Larroquette doing his Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I love that they got him for the new one. I was just like, wow. I'm like, who would have? I had no idea he was still alive. Shout out to Dan Fielding.
Yeah, him, and that voice is, and Morgan Freeman just narrate everything.
Yeah.
But
yeah, those are good. Like just the list is good, but also the people, like your friends or whoever they are in the movie, everyone did a really good job. Everyone did a really good, like when you the thing that like I'm not really too familiar with fan films, like I just don't watch them.
Right.
And if you weren't like someone that I knew, it wouldn't be on my radar. But when we're friends and you made it, and I was just like kind of blown away by like the production value. I was just like,
it looked great.
You would have been involved because I would have been, hey, Playing Dead.
Oh yeah. We're all right. Thank you so much for including our band for sure. That was pretty cool.
Of course. It's like, I used to go see. Sorry, I haven't seen you guys in a while.
That's all right.
But I've seen you guys many times at Mr. Beery's.
I'm here. I'm here right now.
Yeah, are you at Mr. Beery's right now?
But our mutual friend too, Sean, helped you out, man. I got to get him on the show too. I want to talk to some. I wanted to get him on for the we did Rocktober Blood and Hard Rock Zombies because he would have been perfect for that stuff.
Oh my God, yes! I was going to listen to the Hard Rock Zombies episode last night too, and I didn't get a chance.
It's
say enough about that.
Yeah.
What did you shoot? What did you shoot the film? Shoot the movie with, like, because it looked great. I thought.
That's all Sean. Sean, as you know, Sam, like DP. Amazing cinematographer. He knows what he's doing. He takes care in every shot that he does. Some of the scenes, like little sequences in my film, like say the kid when he hides behind the tree, like that shot, those like 4 angles took a couple hours to set up each, but it's like, it looks great. So it's like, you just trust Sean and you trust how long it's going to take and it's going to look great. He shot it on a Black Magic, 4K Black Magic kind of, I'm not technically,
Hey, you already fooled us. That sounded right. A magic black 4K. That's all.
Yeah, a magic camera. He shot it on his magic camera.
Did he hide into a black robe, over his head?
Absolutely, yes. And he had black roses on him, but
Sean knows what he's doing. Absolutely,
Sean knows what he's doing. And when I saw his music video for you guys for No Apologies, I was like, maybe this is the song I could say. I was going to use you guys no matter what because I know you guys are huge Friday the 13th fans. Is Steven the drummer still with you or
not anymore? Yeah, Steve, but he was our drummer for a long time, but no longer. He left in October of 2020. Just wanted to do something different musically, but yeah, Steve would definitely be one of the most appreciative of something like that.
I'll never forget me having a conversation with him and you outside Mr. Beery's about how great part 5 is.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, if I ever make a film, a horror film, doesn't even have to be Friday 13th. I'm like, I got to stick some Playing Dead in there because I know how dedicated horror fans they are.
Yeah, yeah. Part 5 is one of those movies, just like Halloween 3. Like I feel like as you get older, you kind of appreciate it more.
Yeah,
100%.
but I mean, I always loved Part 5. I never understood.
Oh, you were ahead of the curve.
Oh, Jason's not in it because then it sucks. I'm like, well,
Yeah, that's exactly the way. That's
characters are fucking hilarious and fun.
what, like Ratatouille?
Yeah, Ratatouille. Yeah, obviously you saw my homage to that in my film.
I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. Yes, yeah. Like it just like amazing. Like, all right. So Easter eggs. A couple of the Easter eggs. I don't really want to talk too much of them, but I do want to bring up one that I really loved. Speaking of Ratatouille,
Okay.
but I also want to bring up the Blue Oyster T-shirt. No, the blue. Yeah. Right. There was like a Blue Oyster T-shirt in the very beginning.
Blue Oyster salad bar.
Yeah. Right. Like,
yes.
I mean, it has to be kind of like, like, all right, because we're all thinking Police Academy for sure.
100%.
I hear that fucking I hear that saxophone. There you go. Yeah. That was cool. I mean, obviously just for the local heads, Lucharitos t-shirt. I mean, everything that you included
for the local heads.
For the local heads, why not?
Of course, yes.
So I love like Easter eggs like that. I think I'm trying not to really talk too much of the situation and plot, just so people could watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of we were spoiling the hell out of it with photos, and I kind of wished it was like, oh, maybe a month from now we could start throwing up photos and and spoiling it on other podcasts and stuff like that. But like, it's all talked about now. So, but it's like, because I didn't know how many views we would get or anything. So,
all right. Jason dies at the end, guys. Sorry to spoil it.
Well, or does he? We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
We kind of
make them no more part 2.
That.
Evil died tonight.
Evil died tonight. But Evil died at midday,
That is true. Yeah.
But
midday. So then that's also a really good point. Obviously, was that just because that's when everyone was available? You did it like, because there really was no night shots.
Sean was very grateful that the whole film was shot during the day, because it meant like didn't have to worry about lighting too much, but no generators out in the middle of the woods making a noise and whatever. I'm just like, well, I kind of want to shoot this whole thing during the day, but then I also want to, like, this is when we first started. I'm like, if it is successful and gets good responses and everything, like, then I'll shoot the sequel entirely at night, and then you're gonna have trouble. So I have my day one and my night one.
Right.
So, out of curiosity, for something like that, because there's always a sequel, like, I mean, if you did have the opportunity to make a sequel, is that something that you thought of?
Yes, I had thought about it. After we wrapped shooting, I guess at the end of last year, I pretty much was like, oh man, I'm getting the bug. Like, I thought this would be my one and only. I'm not using it as a stepping stone to make more films or anything like that. I have no interest in being part of the industry. I have my full-time pension job, and I want to travel and do other things, but I did really enjoy it as a hobby.
I mean, it's what I do. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. It's like music. Playing music, we just do because we love it. It's not like,
right,
if someone offered us a tour tomorrow for 2 months, I'd have to say no, because how could I just leave?
Right.
I can't.
It's exactly that kind of situation where it's like, well, I don't know. I just wanted to do it because I was passionate about it, and thought it might be a lot of fun. I mean, there was definitely trials and tribulations throughout, but in the end, when we all finished and we started editing it together, it was kind of like, oh man, I'm getting the bug. I want to make another one, but I would only decide to do. I have 2 ideas for 2 sequels, and then it would be a trilogy, and that's it with Friday 13th.
Oh, very cool.
Will we see
And it's kind
Corey
of like
Feldman? Maybe.
Yeah, Corey
Maybe.
Feldman
no,
is
the Fell Dog,
Sea Dog. No, Sea. Yeah, is it Sea Dog?
Sea Dog. I don't know. Probably not.
We can get him in the
I
budget.
wouldn't want any kind of like odd drama.
I feel like we can get him in the we can get him in the budget.
Nah.
Oh, you can definitely get him. Apparently, he comes pretty cheap.
Yeah, I've seen some emails.
Considering.
Well, are you getting him by himself or with his angels? Or is that what they are? Angels? Because that drives the price up.
Instead of a big final girl finale, we could have the Angels finale. But I do have ideas for sequels, and that would be it. But it really depends on how many views we get and if the response is great and continues to be good. Like if we hit 100,000 views, that's my thing. If like we hit 100,000 views and the response is still positive overall, I mean, there's going to be negative. Haters are going to hate that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they hate anything.
Anything and everything. Yeah. So if it hits 100,000 views, I will consider making the sequel. And the sequel, we'd have to raise even more than double of what this production cost, which in the end turned out to be around 28,000. Wow. I thought 13, 14,000 was going to be enough, considering like half the people in it, were friends I mean, they were still paid, but like, because the only way to get your friends to show up is to pay them sometimes. You know?
I mean, listen, craft services ain't free.
Exactly. Yeah. All that stuff costs a lot of money. The effects cost a lot of money. One of the locations cost a lot of money. So it turned out to be around 28 grand.
There was one thing that I do want to say that I loved, and I'm not going to say too much of it other than, a rib getting pulled.
The ribeye?
Yeah, the ribeye was like pretty fucking funny. I thought it was just really, really cool. I like that.
That's a kill that I've been stirring that kill since 2000.
Oh, cool.
For 22 years, I've had that kill in my head.
Yeah.
And I wrote it in an outline, like a treatment, like for just shits and giggles. I didn't think I would ever make it, but I made a Michael versus Jason script. Oh, I didn't write out the whole script. I wrote parts of it and I wrote out an outline. And at the end of that treatment, there's a big fight between Jason and Michael, of course. And Michael breaks off Jason's rib and sticks it in his own eye, into the eye hole with no eye.
Yeah,
that's what happens. So Jason could still see, So, so, and it's funny because that scene took place on Crystal Lake on the dock was the big finale. And I'm just like, and then when I saw Freddy versus Jason 3 years later, I was like, I wrote this scene, except it was Michael and Jason, not Freddy and Jason. Come on.
And where you shot it kind of like did you go to the actual place in Jersey, or was that not it?
No, that definitely wasn't it.
It sure as fuck looked like it.
No, thank you. That's awesome. No, that's at an undisclosed location here on Long Island.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
You could say Riverhead. No one cares.
Yeah, New Riverhead.
You could say Mattatuck. No one's listening.
Yeah.
So that was a whole situation unto itself. We don't have time to get into that.
Oh yeah.
But we did it, and it came out great, and I loved. Those cabins were awesome. You couldn't build a better set. Like everything in those cabins that you saw, like, the bed frame and graffiti and broken windows and everything, like that's just how it was. It's exactly. And we didn't change anything.
The dialogue was cool too, especially between the Lucharitos guy and the girl, like talking about like the Amityville Horror, like that. It was just really well done, man. I gotta say, the whole, the free thing is up on YouTube and all that other stuff, so you could watch all 40 minutes of it. And I kind of want to go back to something that you mentioned. So you said that you wrote an anthology. So like, let's say
Yes.
somewhere down the line, like you get to make this, like how many stories did you write?
I wrote, is it four short stories as part of the anthology. um, and actually, the sequel to Victim No More would be an anthology, and it would be going into the girls' origins and how they met and the kind of final girl support group, situation that they found themselves in. And you'd also get, you know, answers for all your questions. Like what happened at the end of that battle. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But going back to the original anthology story I had, um, I don't know. I still really love the idea, and I haven't put it to bed yet. But it's kind of like, if people seem to like these tribute films, the Friday 13th ones, it might make it easier for me to get. I mean, if I use Sean King and have keep the production value like still at a pretty decent level, then it might be possible to like raise money to do an original project. You know,
And
um,
everyone loves anthology. I love anthologies.
I love anthology. I there's a million of them that I love. I love the creep shows and well, not creep show 3, obviously,
Well, yeah,
but
yeah, that doesn't count. But
I
like,
know you have a trick or treat tattoo.
I don't have a trick or treat
I
tattoo.
thought you had a trick or treat tattoo.
No, I wish. You kidding me? I should get
Who
one.
has a trick or treat tattoo?
I am looking forward to that movie finally getting a fucking like
So
theatrical.
great.
Like,
Oh my god, yes.
how cool is that? I remember just reading about it and like I think my friend Rob told me about it like a long time ago, where he was like, they were like, it's kind of like Pulp Fiction but horror, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh my god, I'm like, that doesn't even make sense, but I got to watch it.
yeah.
And
I
like
gotta
it
see it.
never got released, and like I finally
Yeah.
like I don't even remember how, like maybe I rented it off iTunes or some shit. And now to finally get to go to the theaters and watch that, the new Halloween,
Yeah, when I saw
Terrifier.
it, I was like, how is this movie not a big thing? Like, how did this
Yeah,
like
No.
get how did I miss this, the first time?
yeah.
And I'm still blown away when so-called horror fans, you know, that you run into and have a conversation with, and they haven't seen it yet. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Like, what do you mean you haven't seen Trick or Treat yet? Like, don't you go to Party City and wonder what the hell this mask is from?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that like there's Trick or Treat stuff everywhere, and I wonder if like younger generations like even know what it is because you don't see it streaming a lot. You don't see like where are they discovering this movie? Like, I was blown away. It's one of my top. I mean, it's definitely if I have a top 20 horror films, it's in it.
it's in,
So
yeah, for sure. And it's one of three iconic horror people that have come since like the big, like, like the big 4 or 5 or whatever.
right.
You get fucking the doll from Saw, for sure. Like for later
If we're talking
generations.
about the 2000s,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
every past, like like the fucking Jasons and the Chuckies. Like you have
The pinheads.
the doll from Saw, you have Sam from Trick or Treat, and then you have now Art the Clown. Those are like the three things to me that are like, wow, these characters are just like next level, like up on the mantle. So anyway, I have a few questions here that we were just kind
Yeah,
of like,
and I just keep waiting for like the new icon.
I
Yeah,
lost you. Are you there?
but you froze, Sam.
Okay.
I think we're going now.
Are we good?
I lost you.
All right.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Hello.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got you. All right. So,
your internet connection is unstable, or is it me?
I don't know, Brian. Are you talking?
I'm I'm not getting the message. See.
Yeah, we're good.
It's coming up on your screen. It says it's unstable, Bob.
It came up on my screen.
Uh,
Yeah, so you're unstable. but
I am on the
it's fine. So we're here. Like we have just some rapid fire questions we wanted to ask you to close up here.
rapid fire.
Hell yeah! So you have one.
Like Michael Rosenbaum show. Do you watch that show, Inside of You?
No, you have 1 second.
Right,
you have 1 second to answer though.
Oh Jesus!
You're on the clock.
Yeah. We asked 100 people. All right, so we're going to talk Friday the 13th here. So, favorite Friday the 13th?
Final chapter. Growing up, it was part 6, but by the time I got to my 20s, I realized it was final chapter. But they're neck and neck, 4 and 6.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay.
That is correct. Oh, there's wrong answers.
I'll be grading.
So
that's my favorite too.
That's what I said. 4 and 6 for me. And we had on Tom McLaughlin, and he was one of the coolest dudes on the planet. Like,
I have to listen to that episode. I had been meaning to, but the time you guys did that, I was going through like the worst shit in my life. It was so busy for me. I'm like, I got to get back to listening to that interview with Tom.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. He was super cool. We talked Amazing Stories. We talked Freddy's Nightmares. But yeah, for me, 4 and 6. Least favorite.
It's Jason Takes Manhattan, but sometimes it's Goes to Hell. But I think it kind of depends on my mood.
Okay.
Because Jason Takes Manhattan can be fun. I mean, they both can be fun at times. But Jason Goes to Hell is just so much fun with the special effects and how crazy it is. So I'm gonna have to go with 8.
Okay.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yo, me and you are on par. Number 8 for me, 100%. Like it's so out of I could watch the first 7, no problem. Once we get to 8, it's fucking pretty brutal.
And there are people that like love Jason Takes Manhattan and grew up watching that, and that was their favorite one, and it might have been the first one they saw in theater. So it's like I had to throw him a bone by that opening and Victim No More with like even using the same font for the credits. Like,
yes.
And I'm like, yo, this is for the Jason Tate. Let's start this movie off by referencing my least favorite Friday the 13th.
So
because there's people that love it, you know.
That makes sense. I wasn't sure if that was intentional, but yeah, that's kind of like, all right, that's the vibe I got.
And teleporting Jason once in a while, you know, like how he just appeared at the end of Victim No More to grab the kid.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's another kind of bone towards the Jason Takes Manhattan.
And Nate, he was teleporting like a motherfucker.
That's it.
But I loved Jason Goes to Hell, which is a very hated movie, just because it reminded me of The Hidden. It reminded me of The Hidden and the body jumping, and I just thought the violence in Goes to Hell was outrageously ridiculous. And I thought
that scene, man.
I thought it was just like a very different, like it's just different. Like he tried something different and he succeeded. Now, what do you think is the most underrated Friday the 13th?
Well, I guess you mentioned it before, but part 5 is pretty underrated considering so many people don't like it because Jason's not in it. But I'm entertained by the whodunit plot of it. The characters are fun. I don't know if it'd be part 5. I guess part 5 would be because it is, like you said, it's like kind of like the Halloween 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Which is, you know, awesome in my opinion. So
okay, so out of all the movies, what plot point do you think was the one worth continuing? Like anything that they did in any of like the 12 movies that you feel like they got right and they should have moved on with?
I guess the Tommy Jarvis story or the Jarvis family story.
Sure.
Because I mean, he's the one character that kind of moves on through 3 movies. And it feels like he gets a satisfactory ending to like, but then he finds out Jason's still out there. So after that, so it would have been cool to revisit the Jarvis family.
Cool. And just like the Griswold kids, he changed in 3 times in 3 movies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And actually, it's funny. And part 4 and 6 might be my favorite, but my favorite actor of Tommy Jarvis is the 5th one. I think he did an awesome job. I think he did really cool at just being like unstable. So.
He was definitely the scariest Tommy out of the 3 for sure. He looked like he could like, kill you.
Yeah, I mean, he was struggling with a lot. And it's kind of like, I take that as a little bit of inspiration for the film that I did where, let me deal with like an unstable kid that like, whereas like, if you notice in my film, like he's awkward and odd. Like, and he goes from like yelling to being soft-spoken, like right away, because it's like he's trying to like not upset people, but he's also wants to get out of this little bubble that he seems trapped in too. So he's like all over the place.
Well, he's got
great. I kind of took that a little bit.
He's got great taste in music. That's all I know. Number 6. Favorite Jason out of all the movies. Which one do you think like is your favorite portrayal?
Oh man, again, it's.
And why is it Roy?
And why is it what?
Why is it Roy? Why is it Roy? Can you hear me? Why is it Roy? Yeah.
Roy is my favorite Jason. I guess, man, I don't know. I mean, it's a toss-up between Ted White and C.J. Graham. I think C.J. Graham.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't breathe. And I like how stiff and dead he is, like he just, I just kind of, I like that. I like the zombie Jason of that, but like, that was another thing I kept telling James, who played Jason in my film. I'm like, I don't want to see you breathe. Like, you're dead. Like, I don't want to, because everybody that's going to play zombie Jason is going to do a Kane Hodder impression. And I'm like, I don't want to see the breathing thing. Like, Kane Hodder does it, and that's his thing. And everybody else that imitates him tries to kind of do that too. So
I'm CJ all day, 100%.
CJ all day.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you, Brian?
I agree. CJ.
Okay. All right.
So I have 2 left. So remake, yay or nay?
Yay. I think they did there's things I like and things I don't like. I like that they tried to reboot it in a way where they kind of squished a bunch of films together, like 1 through 4, for a new generation, and then spit it out so we can continue the story. I thought it was pretty good in that sense. But there's things that I hate when it becomes like a parody of itself and characters.
Which is exactly what happened at the very beginning of it. The first kills in the first part of it was great. The first 20 minutes, and
awesome.
And then after that, it turned into this fucking like, oh, cool. Like, I'll be like the stoner guy and you be like the hot chick, and like, I'll be the dick.
Yeah.
I hated that. But the first 20 minutes really got me involved, like, because I was like, yo, that was kind of fucking brutal the way everything went down. And
Jason was was that Derek Mears, right? Played him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's awesome. He's
really aggressive. Like,
I wish Derek Mears. I mean, because he's one of the nicest guys in the world, first off, but he's also a huge fan, and he did an amazing job. I wish it was successful enough, and things were. I mean, it was successful.
It was very successful. Like, a lot.
So it's like, yo, where's part 2 and 3 of this with Derek Mears? I don't care about. it would have been nice to have some likable characters and stuff, but
Yeah.
I've heard so much about the legal problems and all this stuff. I heard they are starting to come to a close, though. Has there been some resolution in that? Do you know anything about it?
They
Like where the
did.
franchise is at?
yeah, they came to some kind of conclusion, but there's always like appeals and stuff like that, and
Mm.
now there's a tease that New Line Cinema might be putting out a new Friday 13th. But this keeps happening and then goes away, and it's like, I'm not going to believe anything until I see a trailer,
Such a shame.
Yeah, I won't even believe it if I start seeing like production stills of, I'm just like, show me a trailer a year or two from now, and then I'll believe it's happening.
When you said 13 years
that,
before, I was like, wow, I can't believe it.
It's been a long time. Like, I feel like, if they're going to have to remake it again, I feel, but I kind of hope they do it in a way where, there's an easy way of not dismissing the old movies. They just don't have to bring it up. They just have to say, Jason did this thing years ago. He's a legend now. And it's kind of like, it's kind of like what the reboot did a little bit. And he's still lurking. And, but if they do decide to remake it, then, it's fine.
So
just give me like characters I enjoy watching, and, I don't know. But on a reboot, I guess. Yeah.
Last question. Before we do the very ending, which is the 5 favorite characters. So, the best cast. Which one do you think is the best cast?
Which Friday film has the best cast?
Yeah.
Final Chapter, hands down.
Yeah. I agree. Yep. Our white whale is Joe Zito. To this day, we're like Invasion USA, Friday the 13th 4, The Prowler. We're like, we need this guy. And he's in
absolutely. He really cared about putting on a good movie.
He's in Dubai right now, according to Sam Furstenberg. All right, so that's it. So let's finish up here with the 5 favorite characters from the Friday the 13th movie. Bobby, give me your list. Give me number 5.
Oh man, we're going from 5 to 1.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ethel from Part 5.
Yeah, she made it.
Don't touch me! I got a bomb on me.
Yeah.
Yes. Just I'm smiling ear to ear, laughing every time she's on screen, saying whatever she's saying. Ethel cracks me.
What I love is, in retrospect, she was probably older than her son was in that movie. Once you took that fucking makeup off of her and stuff.
Probably, yeah.
All right, so my number 5 is Violet. Just the pop locking in Part 5. Tiffany Helm. Like, as a kid, I just had a big crush on her. I just thought she was like, I'm like, I love this girl. So Langan.
And I love that song, Pseudo Echo. I had to put Pseudo Echo in my movie too.
So good. Yeah.
I had to give a taste of, because Pseudo Echo has a lot of awesome 80s tunes. So I'm like, let me put in this one song, A Beat for You. So if people see that it's Pseudo Echo, it's not on the nose, but it's like, they'll recognize the band name if they're hardcore fans.
Which is funny. It's like, all the Easter eggs right there are coming out, but it doesn't matter. So whatever, throw it out
it's fine. Who's going to watch it?
That's it. I already got 3 spins on that thing. So,
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Langan, awesome. Number 5.
Samantha, Judy Aronson from Part 4.
Yeah.
Not a huge role, but she's my girl. Major crush on her. And I apologize to the video store I rented it from, because I might have wore out the tape and that skinny dipping scene. That scene, to me as a young man, falls right below the Phoebe Cates Fast Times.
Yeah.
I got the Judy Aronson one right there.
Yeah,
I love it.
Okay.
She does a lot of the conventions now, and she looks amazing.
She'll do photo ops with her in they got the raft or something as a prop. Yeah. She'll lay in the raft or something. Yeah.
Like Keith Coogan does with his thing with Adventures of Babysitting. That's great. So
great guy.
We had him on too. Give me number 4.
Let's go Dr. Cruz. What an asshole.
Yeah, total asshole.
But so entertaining to watch this guy just be a dick, like to Tina and her mother. And I don't know. I mean, I love Bernie's. So
Also, shout out to him in Three's Company. Great character. Number 4.
yes, Three's
Yeah.
Company. And I even though it's not a great movie, but I like him in it as Mannequin 2 on the Move.
Yeah. Wow.
He's like this weird German guy. Sorry, that's a weird pull.
No, it's a great pull. That's what we do here. We talk nonsense. Number 4 for me is somebody that went on to be in the.
All right, you froze, Sam.
Yep.
I hear you, Langan. Can you hear?
I got you. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So number 4 is.
All right, I'm good now.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good. Somebody who went on to be in the TV show Stephen Freeman, Jason Goes to Hell.
Okay.
I think he was really good in it. I feel like he was pretty much the star of Jason Goes to Hell. Like you think of Creighton Dukes, obviously, because it's absurd, but you think of Stephen Freeman in this movie because I feel like he was like a true hero for sure. Langan, number 4.
Number 4 is Annie from the first one. I just love the character. Her optimism, which is crushed. Obviously, she's the first present day victim, right? The third victim, technically, we see in the film as it starts. But and she could talk to dogs. She talks to a dog. She's magic.
I love when characters talk to the animals like they're people. You know, like even Corey Feldman was just like, "Hey, Gordon, you have a girlfriend or something? What's going on?" You know, like they all talk to people. They all talk to animals like they're going to talk back. Even the guy at the general store in part 3, he's talking to his rabbit. You know.
Yeah.
What I loved about him talking to Gordon is also just because it reminded me of Stand By Me, because it was also him talking to Gordon. So like it just that connection. Yeah. So that connection for sure. I mean, say what you want. Like Corey Feldman was in like 5 or 6 of the greatest movies ever. Like just like you could kill yourself after you fucking been in those movies and like
sure.
You know, it's amazing.
Absolutely. I love Feldman and Hames, a lot of their movies. License to Drive is great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Shit. I'll even give them Blown Away just because they were both banging Nicole Eggert.
Dream a Little Dream.
Blown Away is, an unsung classic.
It is. It was like the beginning of like the VHS thing for me. Like I'm just like, oh, this is like like the 90s. Like, all right. So give me number 3.
Smutty.
Oh, I loved it.
Well, first I wanted to comment real quick on the Sam. Who did you pick for the last one?
The last one was Stephen Freeman for.
Jason right. Yes, hands down, he's the best part of that movie. I think.
Yeah.
Especially the way he jumps over his handcuffs. That's pretty sad.
Yes. Great bomber job.
And Annie is pretty awesome in part 1. Yeah, she's pretty sweet and real. Number 3, I'm gonna go. Man, it's a tie, but Jimbo and Teddy are like, you don't have one without the other.
Yeah.
So, but I guess I'll pick Jimbo.
Same one for my number 3.
Crispin Glover is just so odd and weird, and I kind of the guy that I had pick in my movie. If I may plug it one more time,
of course.
The guy who plays like the prankster guy that comes out as like fake Jason.
Yep.
He played it so I had no idea how he was going to play it, but he played it just odd enough that it reminded me of like a Crispin Glover kind of guy. Like where just the way he talked and like his voice went up and down and he was just weird, I'm like, he feels like a Friday 13th character.
For sure. I mean, and also just like the joking of Shelley. you know?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean that's who I kind of imagined the character would be more like. But it's funny that he went from a Shelley to a Jimbo-ish,
Yeah.
and then off to a Ratatouille kind of guy when he goes off the woods.
Yeah. I fucking love, yeah. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know how they didn't make my list. That fucking scene, like, it's, that scene is one of the most absurd scenes in any of the, like, probably the most absurd scene in any Friday the 13th, because it's just a reason to kill two people, like between him
Yeah,
and
it
like
had nothing to do with anything.
nothing. It was
They're
just
like greasers.
they're like,
You know, like what the hell's going on here?
Ratatouille, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. Like, it's just like, what? All right, so my number three is somebody
Yes.
that we had on, and she was in the classic Walk Like a Man with Howie Mandel, and it's Amy Steele as Ginny in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Did you have Amy Steele on the show?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I got to hear this episode.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
it was great.
She was pretty killer. Thanks to Dan Tur. Dan Tur hooked that up.
oh my God. Then I really got. Wait, maybe I did listen to the episode.
It was quick. It was like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, Yeah, I feel like she's not.
She's not.
She doesn't want to talk more than like a half hour or an hour. She's like us. She doesn't want to like hear herself talk.
Yeah.
She's cool and down there.
Oh,
she's awesome. She's like one of my favorite people in the world to hang out with.
Yeah.
When we do conventions and stuff, she's signing. We like do like Starbucks runs and like it's like, all right, let's get out of here. Let's go get some food. You know, like going on a little adventure. You know,
in the 30 minutes, like she was like super just normal and cool. Like, we were so happy to get a chance. That's
how she rolls. Yeah.
Oh, Langan, number 3.
You don't even have to explain why she's a favorite character. You know, she's awesome.
That's it. Give me your 3, Langan.
My 3 was Jimbo as well, the dead fuck.
That's right.
Crispin's great. You know, you can't take your eyes off him when he's on the screen. And and obviously the dance, I mean, is legendary. And now I've read that, and obviously everyone knows that he played AC/DC. That was the music that he was dancing to. I would really I still don't see that making sense, to like making it like, oh, he was dancing. Like, it still would be insane looking.
He could be dancing to, Winter Wonderland. You know, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yo,
dancing to Pseudo Echo.
You know who his dad is? Like, I never knew that was his dad. Like, I forget.
Danny Glover.
Yeah. That's him. I couldn't believe it. I was like, the guy from Predator 2. But like, his dad, I forgot his dad's name, something Glover, obviously. And when you look at him, you're like,
Mr. Glover.
You are literally the same looking person. It's almost like he's playing his dad whenever you Google his dad.
Oh my God.
So
John Glover's another great Glover actor. John Glover from
Gremlins 2.
Lionel Luther.
He was Clump. Wasn't he Clump or something like in Gremlins 2?
Yes. The Trump type of guy.
Yep. No, he was.
Let's not forget Corey Glover either. Of Living Color.
Corey Glover, right? Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to
all the Glovers are great.
All the Glovers,
yeah. Like a glove.
So 2, I guess, right? Is that where we're at? 2.
Yes.
2.
2 is Ginny Field, Amy Steele. Yep, absolutely. So she's my favorite final girl. No offense to Kimberly Beck if she's listening, because I found out she recently listened to one of the podcast interviews. So I'm like, in case she listens to this one, I love you, Kimberly Beck. I love you, Trish Jarvis.
Yes, you're
the only final girl that protects her family in the Friday the 13th series. You're fantastic. But Amy used psychology on that motherfucker.
Come talk to us, Kim. But also with Ginny, like, you used in the very beginning of the movie, you used like a quote of hers, was it? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah. The thing about you did your job well, mommy is pleased, come kneel down, which is kind of foreshadowing what happens at the end of the movie, that he's on his knees.
Oh, very
and
cool.
He did it. Yeah. So and I'm waiting for somebody to say, the quote is Ginny Field from 1984. And I'm waiting for somebody to say, but wait, part 2 came out in 81. That makes no sense, blah, blah, blah. So I could be like, yeah, but in the movie itself, it's 5 years later from the first one, which would be 1984.
You fucking take that, you cocksucker.
Yeah, I'm preparing for the haters. You know,
Bobby's got one in the chamber waiting for that first guy to step up.
I can't wait.
Just
ready.
My number 2 is Tina Shepard, man.
Nice.
Say what you want about part 7. She was Carrie versus Jason, man. It was like, as a kid, you kind of wanted Jason to have a fight, and she gave him a fucking fight. And that's what I remember, just her being like this like really big superpower. And for that, I just had to put her in at number 2, because out of everyone in the movies, you know, sure, it's probably one of the lower ranked movies, but she was pretty fucking badass through that whole movie, dealing with that dickhead.
I don't know about lower ranked. I mean, people love part 7.
Did they? I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. There's a lot of. I mean, they love the Jason look. They love Tina, so it kind of like helps the movie overall.
Yeah.
You know, it's got like a cool handheld vibe to it.
Cool.
Running around the woods. I don't know.
I love the way he throws.
I like it. I just hate the end.
I love the way he throws that blonde girl that's like really douchey. Like when he walks in, like if you go on Facebook and you find that GIF, it's fucking hilarious. He just
where she flies behind the TV.
I mean, like he must have really thrown some stunt double like across the room.
Great.
Laying at number 2.
That chubby girl with the banana.
Yes.
The hitchhiker.
It's not really her, but it was Ginny. But I had to mention that the banana girl because it's. Ginny's great. One of my favorite final girls ever. Everything you guys said before. I love the still of her holding the pitchfork. That was one of my favorite shots that you'll see. But that whole sequence, the final chase sequence and showdown with Jason, it's one of the best in the series, obviously.
I tried to copy a couple of those shots. I don't know if you realized it, Sam, that there's a shot that I stole directly from part 2 where Ginny like runs out onto a path and she looks both ways and she like runs up and stops in front of the camera. And that's when she sees the cabin that Jason. So I kind of did the same thing with the kid.
Shit.
But see, almost exact same shot, except it's
now I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, I gotta pay attention to that one.
Yeah, it's when like, and then the kid like sees the big, wide opening that he winds where the finale happens. But like, I'm just like, oh, I gotta use that same shot that Amy did.
Yeah.
Also, she got one of the nicest slices of any final girl down that leg, like that whole like she got. Fucking
oh yeah!
I mean, just a gorgeous special effect too. Like it was just like you see movies today that don't have that. You see that movie, you're like, holy shit! He just split her whole fucking leg open.
Much better than the peeing she did.
Yes, the peeing. Yeah.
Did she mention the peeing in her interview?
Yeah. No,
and how stupid she thought it was.
No, I don't think we brought that up. We didn't want her to hang up on us.
Oh, okay. Just it's like rapid fire questions from Amy before she hangs up.
It's like
that was going to be my lead question. Yeah, we thought better of it.
All right, so our favorite. So let's do the number 1 right here, Bobby. Number 1 favorite character of any Friday the 13th movie is.
Besides Jason?
Besides Jason.
And besides every character from part 5?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to say Mrs. Voorhees.
Baby. Oh, okay.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Mrs. Voorhees, I'm gonna have to say is just she's what makes that movie awesome, like in the end. Like if that reveal and that story and the way she tells the story and how believably crazy she is doesn't work, then that first movie doesn't work.
Yeah.
When growing up, that first movie was kind of like, well, I like it, but it's boring to me as a kid.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right.
and I didn't really appreciate it. And now a lot of it's like I'm just looking at it with adult eyes and seeing how it's shot and what went on to make it. And I like the characters now and Adrian King and everybody, Kevin Bacon.
Never heard of him.
No, never heard of 'em. All those characters. I like them now, but man, Betsy Palmer, that end is
She really did nail that
awesome.
ending for sure. And I will say this about Adrian King. In the second movie, she definitely, like, that very beginning of the second one where she gets the fucking, like, I think it was like a screwdriver to the head.
Ice pick.
Ice pick.
It was ice.
Maybe you're right. Like, 1 minute. Man, that was a brutal death, and it was very shocking, and you weren't expecting it, and it was like that's probably one of the top 3 like best kills, because it's pretty like jarring. You're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's sad.
So my number 1 is a duo. So I'm gonna go with Megan Garris and Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th Part 6. Just them as a duo. Like, I really think everything about Part 6 just fucking worked, man. It was just, it looked great. The cast was great. These two just really drove that movie, man. Like, they were so good together. And yeah, I love them. My favorite of the whole series, those two together.
As a fan and a massive fan of Part 6, did you have a problem with me recasting Megan with Catherine Mary Stewart?
Oh, no.
Is that supposed to be Megan?
No, not at all. Because just because it's her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, like, when I saw like her in the movie, I was just like, oh, that's a good, like.
So did you feel like we upgraded a little bit? Well, it's not upgrade. It's just like I felt like the fans wouldn't have mind if you replaced Jennifer Cook, because Jennifer Cook never acted again after that. And fans know that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, a lot of fans are aware that, like, she just left acting after Jason Lives.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that was a good call then, because if she never did anything after that, I mean, like, what? I mean, if you're gonna be replaced, I mean, that's like.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, the only character I could have Catherine play where fans wouldn't be like, yo, it's not the original actress, so this sucks, or whatever. It's just like, well, I love Megan, and I feel like Megan, as great as she is, and she was cute as hell, like, she didn't get to do a lot of battle damage on Jason. It's just kind of like the motorboat, propeller to his neck, and that's it, really. I mean, she saves Tommy, which is amazing. It gives him mouth to mouth and stuff, but like, she didn't get to, like, she almost died. She didn't put up much of a fight. Sure. So I'm like, well, let me make Megan be the one that has the shotgun at the end of my movie. Or, sorry, spoilers. But like,
that's a, you know what? I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that you would take that angle. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I love this movie so much, but like, the final girl doesn't really get to. It's more Tommy's story.
It is. He's a final boy.
Lives.
Yeah,
he's the final boy.
Right.
So I'm just like,
thanks for mansplaining, Tommy.
Yeah, mansplaining. I had to mansplain it. Let's throw a shout out for Sheriff Garris too, man. That guy is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Tom McLaughlin told us that it was just all named after his buddy Mick Garris, which I think
Mick Garris,
cool.
of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Langan, let's close it up.
I'm gonna give it to Crazy Ralph, yo.
Yo, I wanted Crazy Ralph on my. It was either him or Pop Lock Girl, but yeah.
I love Crazy Ralph. I'll still say you're all doomed.
Yeah,
I'll throw that out there. The death curse line. I'll throw that. I love how he's the town crazy, which you see in horror movie. It's a trope at this point, but I love this guy riding his little bicycle away because he probably caught like 5 Kiwis. They took his license away. It's the only way he gets around town.
I love it. He's the typical county drunk. He doesn't have a license.
Listen, OG, like he was OG. Like I don't know anyone else who was warning kids before him. He was like he was the OG,
and he was
snitch.
married too. Apparently, he was married because like
in the movie.
Yeah, because
in the movie
he was
like,
missing or something, right? Or one of the I don't remember.
The cop is talking about how his wife was worried.
Yes,
something like that. Like
that's
while
it.
he's driving the head counselor guy, back to camp or whatever. They're having a conversation about Ralph and how his wife was worried or something. I'm just like, oh my god, that guy's married. That's great.
Yeah, he's a prize. He's a prize. Yeah, great pick. I honestly should have been on my list, but you got to leave someone off sometimes. There's 12 fucking movies and a lot of
What are you
characters.
gonna do?
I would have thrown in that the Lana guy that was just yelling at some girl while listening to the shittiest music.
I thought for sure you were gonna pick the Destiny Child chick. Freddy vs. Jason.
Yes, Kelly Rowland.
Wait, the who?
That one.
Kelly Rowland.
Kelly Rowland.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I wrote down the only one left on my list that I kind of have like an honorable mention to is the kid Linderman from Freddy vs. Jason. Like, I have a soft spot for that kid. Like, he just seemed like, I think he's a great actor. He was like the kind of nerdy kid who's he's been in a few things. I think The Girl Next Door and a few other things. But like, I kind of have a soft spot for that kid because he just seemed very real and cool. And he makes fun of Kelly Rowland in that one scene about, if all the makeup on your face wasn't weighing down your whatever.
Yeah.
But he turned out to be like a really sweet character. Like when he died, he's the only character I think in Freddy vs. Jason where I'm just like, oh man, just bled out by a tree. That's not cool.
What about the Jay and Silent Bob? Like, that thing was just so bad. I'm like, the Jason Mewes guy. Like,
that guy.
That was just brutal.
Kyle Levine.
That was just so brutal.
Yeah, the stoner guy.
I'm like, this is terrible. But cool, Bobby.
The goalie was pissed about something.
Bobby, thanks for hanging out with us. I'm gonna put a link to the movie. Thank you for including our dumb little band in the movie as well, and I hope it does amazing.
My pleasure, man.
I hope it does amazing.
Best of luck to everything.
I hope I can squeeze them in the next one.
Yeah,
Do you mind if I squeeze Dead into the next one if I can?
That's it. We squeeze them into all of them. Like, I'm ready for that franchise money.
That's it.
So, guys.
Well, you guys will every member of the band I'll give a free Blu-ray to when we get them made and stuff. So
that'd be great. Yeah.
Should be in the next couple of months. There'll be like behind the scenes stuff on there and bloopers and fun stuff like that. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
And the next movie, we got to make a music video. We got to make Sean King make a music video with your band coincide with clips from the movie.
Man Behind the Mask. Like that.
Absolutely.
Like that Alice Cooper shit.
Right.
Let's do it.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Good talking to you. I'll see you soon. Thanks for hanging out. And
thanks, Bob.
I'll see you guys.
Thanks, guys, man. This was awesome.
Good luck with everything.
Anytime you want.
Yeah, anytime.
Geek out more.
Yeah, we have complete nonsense conversations, and we're always looking for people to jump on with us. So.
Yep.
Yeah, get me and Dan Tur on there too.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Same time.
Sure.
I love hanging out with Dan. He's amazing.
Dan's the best.
Idea.
Yeah. Dan makes these awesome shirts for us.
Nice.
I'm wearing a Dan t-shirt right now.
He's the man. Dan the man.
Method Man and Psycho.
Nice.
All right, cool. Guys, later.
Later, guys.
Take care, guys. Awesome. Bye.